Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and I'm a huge fan of Cory Wong. I've made several videos about him and his guitar course on this YouTube channel. I'm just blown away by how hard of a worker he is and how great of a player he is. And some of you on YouTube who have watched this channel over the years have made comments saying I look and sound like Cory Wong, both in how I speak and sometimes how I play, which is one hell of a compliment because I don't think I'm anywhere near the player that he is. But today, we're going to be checking out his signature Strat in a limited edition Surf Green. I got this guitar from Sweetwater. It's currently on a promotion. You can click in the link in the description if you'd like to learn more about it and save, I believe, $400 getting one of these brand new in both the Surf Green and the Daphne Blue satin finishes. We're going to start off with you hitting the like button on this video and me putting this guitar on the bench to check it out. So let's get started. The only difference between these limited edition Cory Wong Stratocasters and the regular production model are the colors that are available. You have Surf Green on this one, which is my all-time favorite for a Stratocaster that has a rosewood fretboard on it, as well as Daphne Blue that is also an option should you prefer that. However, all three of them have the same sort of finish on them, and it's a satin lacquer. You might notice it's not as glossy, not as shiny, and that's due to the nature of the finish itself, and it pays homage to his original Highway 1 Stratocaster that has a similar type of finish on it, and over time it should wear fairly nicely. This guitar comes with a set of Seymour Duncan Clean Machine pickups, which are Cory Wong signature pickups. You have a traditional single coil in the neck in the middle and a stacked pickup in the bridge, so you can throw a little bit more gain on it and it'll handle it maybe a little bit better than a traditional single coil would. Onto the bridge itself, you have the vintage bridge with 6 screws. We're going to talk a little bit more about something I'm noticing in a second, but I'm going to have to move the camera. Let's wrap up with the electronics first. Regular volume, tone, tone. This tone controls these two, this tone controls this one. However, the last tone pot has a push-push on it. No matter where you are on the 5-way selector switch, if you have that engaged, it's going to automatically bring you to the 4th position, which is the neck and the middle pickup combined. Now, this isn't the first, nor will it be the last Fender Stratocaster, regardless of where it's made, that I've seen this issue with, but what I want to point out to you is the string spacing and some of the implications that may come from it. If you look here at the E, no problems. We're going right over the pole piece pretty much all the way through. Same thing with the A, the D, the G. We're starting to get a little bit close on this bridge pickup. The B, really pushing the limits. And then on the E on this side, it's almost not covering over any of that pole piece right there. The problem with this becomes sometimes people complain that the string will actually slide off of the fingerboard when they're playing solos or running quick legato on the neck. And that's something that can be down to string spacing. I'm fortunate. I still have a Callahan VN, which has a narrow string spacing on it that I'm probably going to install into this guitar. I've had it lying around since I sold the Takashi Kato Stratocaster, but we'll have to see how this actually works out in practice as is. The neck on this guitar is almost identical to the ones that come on the American Ultra Stratocasters. It's got a modern D shape to it, a 10 to 14 compound radius, medium jumbo frets, and a rosewood fingerboard. However, the actual headstock itself is slightly larger than you would find, and that was to Cory's specifications. And I failed to mention this when we were sitting and looking at the body, but the body is actually scaled down ever so slightly as well, and that was his way of fine-tuning the instrument to his tastes. Let's check the fret edges for smoothness. Now, I don't think I'm going to cut myself playing this guitar, but they could definitely go with a little bit of love, and I'm probably going to hit this with the Fretalizer sanding block once we have the strings off and the camera's gone. However, before we get to having the strings off this guitar, where we are going to measure at the 1st and the 12th fret, I'm going to check the actual frets themselves and see how level they are. Okay, so this fret was a little bit high in the B and the E area, but outside of that, as close to perfect as you're gonna get. Looking at the guitar from behind, you can see it has the locking Fender tuners, the Cory signature right there, and the finish on this is also satin to match with the body. Time to remove the strings and get some measurements. 0.86 at the 1st, 0.90 at the 12th fret. For today's demo, we're only going to be using 2 pedals and 1 amplifier. The Tone King Gremlin combo mic'd up by the SM57, the Brown Amplification Protein, and the Strymon Volante. Let's hear what it sounds like. wanted to take a different approach to today's sound demonstrations. I only played a few funky riffs, and normally I kind of stay there. That's really my wheelhouse. However, Cory himself plays this guitar and that style of music better than I ever could, so I felt like he did a really good job of showing what it would sound like for that. So for me, I wanted to have a little bit more fun with the gain, so I really cranked things at times with the Brown amplification protein pedal, and I had much better results than I was anticipating, especially considering this is technically a single coil instrument. And I say that because this bridge pickup is actually stacked, so it really handles gain extremely well. It's got this big beefy sound. I love the fact that you can roll the treble off with the tone pot right here, and not all Strats are wired to do that. It sounds great. Same thing with the neck pickup. This is just a standard single coil, and it's amazing with dirt on it. I had so much fun with both channels engaged from the protein, and yeah, things were getting a little bit out of control, especially considering I'm playing rhythm 99% of the time, but obviously to be expected. Once we were hitting some cleans, it's just sweet, it's chimey. You're not sacrificing any of the clean tone in order to get some of those more aggressive tones should you want to use them. There was one thing I really wanted to make a point of showing you in today's video, and that is the difference in the size of a traditional Stratocaster body versus the Cory Wong. Whether it's a limited edition or the standard sapphire transparent model, it's a scaled down body compared to a traditional Strat. However, as you can see, it's not that big of a difference whatsoever. And when I switch from one guitar to the other, I noticed that the Cory Wong is just a little bit lighter. It feels a little bit more compact, but it's pretty negligible. And if you're somebody who is maybe put off by the fact that this does have a smaller body, it's not that big of a difference, honestly. On to some of the potential cons, or at least things that I feel that you should take into consideration if you are looking at one of these guitars new from Fender. The first being, it really is a mix and match between modern spec, the neck, and vintage spec, the bridge. The regular American Ultras come with a 2-point system that is fairly easy to set up and quite abusable without having to worry about tuning stability. This is the vintage 6-screw bridge. For me, I don't look at this as a con because it's what I've played for my entire life. The JV had a 6-screw bridge and I've always made it work, and I've always used the bar on it. However, I have it set to decked against the actual body itself. If you want this thing floating, you're gonna have to really know what you're doing as far as the setup goes. It is doable, and there's many resources you can learn how to do that on your own, but you're never gonna be able to treat one of these the same way that you would with a Floyd Rose or a modern, like a Super V bridge. So if that's something that you require out of a modern Strat, perhaps this might not be the best option for you. And the second thing worth keeping in mind is the finish of the guitar itself and how you like or don't like your guitars to wear over time. This has a satin lacquer finish on it, so there is no poly or nitro gloss finish to kind of protect it. So the more that you play it, it's going to wear and it's going to go bare fairly quick depending on your playing technique and how your body rests with the guitar on it. For me, I really like the way that it feels, the way that it looks. It's a little bit more subtle and dignified to me. However, I know for some people, they want their guitars to be shiny and pristine for the duration of the time that they do have the instrument. Overall, I think that this guitar is awesome, and I love the fact that I now have another surf green Strat with a rosewood fingerboard back into the house. I've always regretted selling my '88 Corona 62 reissue that was in the surf green, and now this is its new modern replacement. But special thanks again to the guys at Sweetwater for letting me pick out the exact guitar I wanted via the guitar gallery, because that really does make a big difference, especially with this color of surf green. It varies widely, so you can have one that's a lot more pale or almost white, or one that's a little bit more green like this one. Being able to see it in advance is a big plus, and that's one of the reasons why I do buy a lot of things from Sweetwater. However, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought about today's video, the review, and the guitar itself. Tell somebody in your life that you love, that you do love them, play your guitar, and thank you for watching. Take it easy, everybody.